In this video, I'm going to walk you through 5 gross things that happen on my sheep farm. Some of them happen regularly, some of them happen rarely, if only one time ever. Now, because YouTube is really sensitive about certain things, I have censored some parts of this video, but if you want the uncensored version, click on the first link in the description of this video, and I'll email it over to you. And in addition, guys, this is just 5 of 20 really gross things that actually happen at my farm. I created a free ebook for you. If you want to download it, I will send it to you alongside that uncensored video. Same link, first link, it's free, so download it there. So when I began implementing regenerative principles on my farm, the health of my flock turned a complete 180. It was amazing to see the difference that good management made. After watching animal health improve month after month, I developed a notion that I would never encounter anything but peaceful, natural death on my farm. It wasn't long before reality walked through the door and handed me a dose of humility as a new farmer. Death rate did indeed go down, and problems were indeed minimized with regenerative agriculture, but animals still died, and I still had to treat the occasional problem. Now, after a few deaths, which, if I'm honest, really got me down, and after having to get my hands dirty quite a bit, the Lord really met me with this truth, and that was that regenerative agriculture cannot restore a fallen world. Only Christ can. And until he returns, we will farm in tandem with the curse of death. And it helped me to understand that management will minimize disease and untimely death in my operation, but it's never ever going to eliminate it. And so with this understanding, I became more resilient as a farmer. Losing sheep still really hurts, but I'm able to move on without feeling like a failure. When these random gross issues pop up, I don't panic like I used to. I cull or treat the problems and move on in peace. So let's get to the 5 gross things. Number 1 is toxoplasmosis. Now, this particular day, I had found a ewe that had just delivered a healthy lamb, and upon evaluating the afterbirth, I realized it was not just afterbirth. It was a stillborn twin that had been mummified in its own placenta. Now, this condition is known as toxoplasmosis. It is a parasite that passes from rat to a cat to a sheep, and the ewe becomes infected as a result of grazing pasture or eating feed that has been contaminated by infected cat droppings. Now, the good news is that the ewe quickly develops immunity to the parasite. Toxoplasmosis is unlikely to happen twice within the same ewe. Gross thing number 2 is a rectal prolapse. Now, this has only happened one time at my farm, and in simple terms, this means that her intestines were coming out of her body through her rectum, which is the place where manure comes out. Now, this is not to be confused with a vaginal prolapse, which is related to lambing. It's entirely different. Now, for this particular situation, I tried to do a little at-home DIY project with some tips from a rancher neighbor who had sewn up a couple of these himself, but I gave it my best shot. That stitch didn't really solve the problem, so I took her to the vet, and for $170, he put a rectal ring in place. After a few weeks, that ring fell out and the ewe was entirely healed. And what is more, she had a beautiful lamb 7 months later. No recurring problems. It was entirely worth it to make that fix and keep that excellent quality ewe in my system. Gross thing number 3 is ringworm. Now, this particular night, I was watching a ewe push for a few hours. She had a small amount of bloody discharge coming from her backside, but no dilation and no lamb after several hours of her apparently pushing. So I caught the ewe to assist her with delivering the lamb. I inserted 2 fingers into the birth canal and immediately felt hooves, but the birth canal was so tight I could not get any more than those 2 of my fingers into the birth canal to pull the lamb through. And because I could only fit 2 fingers in, there was absolutely no way that the head and hooves were going to be able to be pulled through that tight birth canal. And I tried my best, but after working for a solid 4 hours to stretch and encourage dilation with our hands, we were only able to pull the 2 hooves out. No way, once again, that head was going to come through that birth canal. By the end of the night, we lost both the ewe and the lamb. We actually had to put the ewe down. It was such a bad situation. There was no way to get to the vet, and she was in such bad condition that it was just something we deemed as humane to put her down. I found the condition to be formally known as ringworm. It's a hormonal imbalance within the ewe that prevents the cervix from dilating, and a C-section is the only way to deliver the lamb successfully. Now, gross thing number 4 is tapeworms and roundworms. Now, this photo shows a large tapeworm in the manure of a lamb, and you're also going to see several roundworms in the manure at the top of the photo. Now, this is pretty gross, but tapeworms and roundworms are somewhat common in wet climates. That said, valbazen is effective against tapeworms and roundworms, so if symptoms like stunted growth and potbellies persist in a lamb at your farm, do consider valbazen as an effective treatment option. Just keep in mind that after deworming, you might actually see tapeworms and roundworms in the manure. Now we have the worst for last, nasal bots. Now, I don't have a really high-level technical explanation for what nasal bots or nasal flies are, but a simplistic explanation is that flies lay eggs or deposit larvae in the nasal cavity of a sheep. Now, the larva grows and produces the stuff that you're seeing coming out on screen here, and yeah. So once I was finished with the lance and drain, the little bottle lamb just let out a massive sneeze, and guess what came out? The worm. So gross. It kind of makes me still want to throw up a little bit. Now, this is not life-threatening at my farm. I do not formally treat nasal bots when I see them in sheep on pasture. I simply let it run its course because the sheep is more uncomfortable, typically by me running the treatment, than it is by the particular issue running its course. I feel like I barely scratched the surface here, so if you want to see all 20 gross things from my farm, once again, click the first link in the description of this video. I'll email that to you for free. And before you leave in the comments, guys, what is something gross that has happened at your farm, sheep or not, and what are some solutions that you implemented to overcome? I'm already feeling kind of squeamish, but I will look forward to reading your comments down below. And if you're looking for something to watch next, tap here for my video where I walk you through a pasture-based lambing season on my small farm. Oh, still recovering.